Alright guys, so here we are taking a look at the liveries of CN and CP. So, welcome everyone to my next episode of Train Terms Talk Show. I hope you all enjoy. Make sure to subscribe for more awesome content of rail fanning, gaming, and information about trains if you want to learn about them, like if you're a new rail fan. So now, let's get started with the liveries of CN and CP. Alright, as you can see here on the CN SD40-2W, you'll notice something gray is by the CN logo. Like, what is that? What do you think it is? You think it's like rusted paint off? Think it's like rusted paint or something? Well, no, actually it's not. If you take a closer look at it, that is actually North America painted on there. And that is a CN livery. And the name of that livery is called CNNA. CN standing for Canadian National, and NA standing for North America. The CNNA livery. Alright, so now, coming up, here is now a list of locomotives that the CNNA livery can be seen on. It was mostly seen on GE C40-8M units, but those are getting put for sale or storage, so here soon they will be mostly seen on SD40-2Ws. It is also seen on some C44-9W, SD40-2, and GP40-2LW. Alright, now here is another livery right here. On this locomotive you can see there is no CN logo on the side. The CN logo is instead only placed on the front of the nose. And you notice that there are these white stripes on the side. This livery is called the Zebra Stripes. The Zebra Stripes livery. And now, here's a list of locomotives that the Zebra Stripe livery can be seen on. It can be seen on General Electric's C40-8M, which some are sold and others are put into storage. Some of them were seen on SD50Fs, but now all of them have been scrapped and retired. Some are also seen on SD60Fs, however, though they were all sold. Some were scrapped and others were sold. And some were also seen on SD40-2s, some sold and some retired. And some seen on Jeeps, some sold and retired as well. And now here's another livery right here. In honor of CN celebrating 15 years, CN made this livery right here. This is just called the 15th Anniversary Livery. This livery is mostly seen on General Electric C40-8 and some Electromotive Diesel SD40-2Ws and one GP9RM 7258. And now here's another anniversary locomotive. This right here you see is a GEVO in Tier 4 paint, and some of these Tier 4 units were put into this scheme, and the name of that scheme is called the CN100. It's a nappy scheme. I don't really like it. 15th was way better. Now I will say this CN100 livery is going to be removed. It will be removed one day. But now, here's a list of locomotives that can be seen on. Well, it can only be seen on two types of GEVOs, General Electric's ES44AC and General Electric's ET44AC. And now, you probably figured you'd see this livery coming up. You'll probably know what the name of this livery is because a bunch of other railroads had it. Norfolk Southern had it, Illinois Central, GTW, bunch of other railroads. And anyway here, y'all probably know what this is. But in case you don't, and like you're brand new to this is called an Operation Lifesaver Scheme, or for short, OLS. This is only seen on one locomotive, and that's CN6401, the one that you are looking at on your screen right now. And CN6401 is a GP40. And now, here's a pretty cool looking locomotive right here. As you can see here, this is a CN EMD SD40-2W in rainbow colors. And this livery right here is called the CN Expo 86. Expo 86, well, for those of you who don't know what it is, Expo 86 is the 1986 exposition on transportation and communication. It was a World's Fair held in Vancouver, British Columbia, near the North Shore of False Creek in 1986, from May 2nd all the way to Monday, October 13th. This is the second time that Canada had an expo fair. The first one took place in 1967. Canadian Pacific also has an expo unit as well. We will get to that later when we are going over the liveries of Canadian Pacific Railway later on in this episode. A few years later, after the Expo 86, CN 5334 was repainted. Sadly, in 2011, CN 5334 was scrapped. And now, here's one of the rarest liveries ever on Canadian National Railway. There are a total of 8 left. One of them, 2455, is currently sitting in storage at Centralia, Illinois. This right here is called a Blue Devil. Technically, it is an IC Blue Devil because you can see the reporting mark under the locomotive number. But this is still a part of CN, and it is called a Blue Devil. This can only be seen on one locomotive type, and that is only 8 General Electric C40-8Ws. Some of them have been repainted. And now, you're probably wondering, why is this blue? Is this a special paint scheme? Well, not really. Back then, CN had bought some LMSX units. LMSX locomotives were blue, and CN patched them with their logo and left some of them blue paint. Most of them are repainted now. Remember how I said earlier that CP had an Expo 86 unit as well? Well, here it is, right here. However, though, instead of having only one Expo 86 unit, CP had multiple of them. They were only seen on multiple SD40-2 locomotives. And right now, here's an older CP unit. Notice the logo right there. That's one of their older logos. There's 2 names for it. Here are the 2 names. It can be either called the Multimark or the Pac-Man logo. And yes, this is actually considered a livery, by the way. And now here's another livery right here. As you can see, it's different colors, and the Canadian Pacific logo is also written in cursive, and it's a different font. To be honest, I actually like it a lot. It's pretty cool. Now, I will say this, there is actually no name for this livery. Kind of like how there's no name for BNSF Green BN unit. I just call it the Green BN livery because there really is no name for it. And there's also no name for this. Now, I will say this livery is rare, and it's not seen on much locomotives at all. It's just not really seen on much at all. I will say this, it is seen on Jeeps, Switchers, and some of Canadian Pacific's newly bought SD70 ACU locomotives. And right here, as you can see, these are 5 brand new Canadian Pacific SD70 ACUs that came out this year. And as you can see, they kind of look like military locomotives. Like, don't you see like the military green in that bottom left locomotive? These are military locomotives. And just to let you know, these are not heritage units. For what they are actually called special interest units. And right here, as you can see, there's not really much to talk about them. I will say, though, 7023 is my personal favorite. Well, I'll give you the locomotive numbers. So, what I do know is these 5 SD70 ACUs are honoring Canadian and U.S. militaries. The top left is CP6644. Top right is CP 7022. Middle left 7023. Bottom 7020. And bottom right 7021. And that's really all there is to talk about. And now here's another livery Canadian Pacific came out with. Well, back in 2010, Canadian Pacific honored the Vancouver Olympics of 2010, and it didn't look like this. Originally, it looked like this. Yeah, well, a few years later, it was repainted, and it still remains in this kind of paint today. And now this is the final livery. We have officially went over all liveries of CN and CP, and I want to say thank you for watching.